Hello, Commander. The operation to cut off the enemy forces to retreat to the dislike button have been minorly successful. We caused a 3,700 damage to the enemy, the YouTube shadow banning battalion. However, because the damage is not strong enough, they have decided to bombard our positions. They have deployed new multiple launch rocket system at the light button. Commander, I need you to destroy them. Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 122 and 123, and also some information from 124. So it's for the 25th to 26th of June, and some because it's already afternoon, coming to the evening in Ukraine. So some of this information is coming from 27th of June as well. So let's start off with missile strikes. So Russia have strike training centers across Ukraine. 3 different training centers has been hit. So one is at Desna, the other one is at Teterivka, which is in Zaporizhzhia. This one is in Desna is actually in Chernihiv, which is this part, and another one at Starychi, which is in Lviv. So this is according to the Ministry of Defense of Russia. So they say that the high precision attack, of course, is going to be high precision caliber missiles, was launched at the 169th Army Training Center at Desna, 199th Air Assault Troops Training Center at Teterivka, and 184th Training Center of the Armed Forces of Ukraine at Starychi. So they say that the attack has neutralized the 65th, 66th Mechanized Brigade and the 46th Air Mobile Brigade of the Strategic Reserve. So they just finished their training. They are just about to finish their training and about to be deployed, and then they got hit. I'm not sure how devastating is this hit, or is the Russian Defense Ministry making it sound much more than what it is. But I'm sure that if even 10% of the troops are hit, I think that will cause a significant emotional and psychological damage to the forces that were trained and prepared to go to the front. And so it remains to be seen how this will work out for the Ukrainians. Maybe this will mess up the deployment plans, and they have to mix up the troops to strengthen the numbers. I'm not sure. So there is the missile strikes. I don't think there's any other missile strikes that's worth talking about. No Shaolin monks today. So the border is probably there are Shaolins, but I didn't see any, at least. So moving on to the Odessa front. At the Odessa front, the Ukrainians have launched another assault, rather bombardment attempt at the Snake Island or Zemeny Island, and one Sukhoi 25, the Ukrainian Sukhoi 25, was shot down by the Pantsir S air defense system and gun missile and gun system. So this Pantsir system, I'm not sure how many Pantsir did they planted in Snake Island. It also took down 12 rockets. So the Russian Defense Ministry also emphasized that there is no victim nor damage has been caused by this Ukrainian attack. Then I have much more detailed information coming from the pro-Russian analysts. They say that on 26th of June, 2:30 p.m., basically in the afternoon, in the area of the Zemeny, this is the situation. This is the report time. Sorry. On the night, the Ukrainian forces launched a massive shelling of the Zemeny Island. So they deployed the 155 Hawk Weasel, which is the M777, and there are Western multiple launch rocket system as well involved. And in the south of Zatoka, there is MiG-29 fighters and one Sukhoi 25 operating. TSS that is took off from the Vonesensky airfield. Zatoka is here, so the aircraft are flying around here, and he assessed that the aircraft took off from here, so they flew down and then operated around this region, probably providing air cover for their artillery and multiple launch rocket system. The Sukhoi 25 probably went for an attack, and which is why it got shot down, I guess. And so then after that, after this, they actually did another round of shelling, and this time round, there was a increase in activity of reconnaissance aircraft from the US Air Force and NATO Air Force over Romania and the Black Sea. At least 10 different reconnaissance or intelligence aircraft was operating. So this analysts say that it's similar to what happened in June 20th. So at least 10 aircraft was flying as against the normal usual outfit of 6. So because NATO have been flying non-stop intelligence operations, their air intelligence operation like ELIN, electronic intelligence, around Romania airspace and in the middle of the Black Sea here, outside of Russian airspace. So usually they say that it's around 6 aircraft, and then during the operation, during the attack operation, there is actually at least 10. So this is also early warning for the Russians in a way. So every time I believe that every time the Western powers send more reconnaissance and intelligence planes, the Russians probably will get information from that attack on Snake Island is happening. So that's kind of silly as well. So anyway, as he also emphasized, the reconnaissance aircraft are actively working in the air, electronic reconnaissance and long-range radar detection. So this analysts also expect a more intense attack on the island soon, because there is 18 patrol boats being deployed, and they're going to be deployed in a mosquito fleet format, which means that they go by mass, and then all these boats are likely to be equipped with missile systems, maybe at least handheld missile systems. So in a mass attack, it's much more harder to take down. So let's see what's going to come. Likely these boats are already in Ukraine already, because usually, according to the Russian analysts, and also this is also my opinion, that every time they announce something, actually the thing has already been delivered. So let's see if there is a major naval assault. So for those that are asking, where the artilleries are firing from, is actually from here at Kubansky Island. This is the closest place they can operate to the Snake Island. The distance is around 35 kilometers. So, which also indicates that they are probably given special ammunition, maybe GPS guided artilleries, which will allow them to hit the Snake Island. If not, then the artillery on its own, their range is at max 30 kilometers. They are unlikely to hit the Snake Island. So anyway, that's that. That's all for the Odessa front. Coming to the Mykolaiv front. At the Mykolaiv front, there is information reported from the Ukraine map. He confirmed by call that the Ukrainians have captured Bavinok. They also mentioned Zeleny High, but Zeleny High under our map and tracking had always been Ukrainian, so that doesn't make any difference. So, but he can confirm that the Ukrainian forces is at Zeleny High and Bavinok. So, however, we have Russian war analysts reporting from Kasalivka. So, during his visit, he can confirm that the Russian forces has firm control over the town, and the front line is actually near Zaporizhzhia, 11 kilometers away. 11 kilometers away from Lysychansk, which is here, is actually 11 kilometers away, all the way at the edge of the town. I'm not so sure if that's the case, and if you put by a radius of 11 kilometers, that will put Maine, Zeleny High, and Babinok firmly under Russian control. So we can take that information with a pinch of salt. Usually war reporters were reporting from the ground. I feel that their views are, of course, will be very biased according to whoever they are interviewing and getting the information from. And the information from being from the ground sometimes can be incomplete or can be wrong, because the civilians that he interviewed is unlikely to go to the front line as well. So information is a lot of the time is based on hearsay. So there's a lot of fog of war when you're on the ground. Compared to us, for example, we are reporting strategically. To be honest, you guys actually have a better appreciation of the entire strategic situation than the soldiers on the ground. That is the truth. So so we have to take this into consideration. So but it's nice to see war reporters reporting there, which means that we have firm idea that the front line is definitely not anywhere near it. So the fighting between Sodatsky and Zaporizhzhia there isn't anything coming out from it anymore. So I can delete it. Nothing's happening there. So far Sodatsky is probably still under Ukrainian control. The fighting near Pravdane, let's see, was also no longer happening. There's no more fighting in the southern front actually. It's actually very quiet. So I deleted these two in front of you, so you guys at least know the difference between the previous map and this one. So if you are on the map, if you go to the defensepoliticsasia.com map /Ukraine, you can actually enable different layers, and you'll probably be able to see much more details. Or you can overlap the maps and you can see what's the changes, compared to previously. You can see, yeah. So in case you do not know, and there is no updates or information or changes at the Severodonetsk area. Over here at the Davydiv Brid front, the information is that there is reinforcement arriving at Kryvyi or Tokarevo. They sent a tank unit to this location to reinforce this location. I think, let's see, I think that's it. These are all other Ukrainian positions that we know of. Moving on to the Kryvyi Rih Front. At the Kryvyi Rih Front, the Russian forces had captured Lysychansk. This is based on the information that Ukrainians are actually shelling this town. Previously, this is under Ukrainian control, and we reported that there is a Russian attack from Potokaini towards Lysychansk. So apparently this attack was successful, which is why the Ukrainians are now shelling this position. The Ukrainians actually tried a counter-offensive, probably airborne, because there is a support of 2 Mi-8 helicopters. And however, this operation did not succeed. So they probably fly to the rear and then try to attack, but it seems to have not worked out. Not sure how it went. There is also a myriad of reinforcement coming to Shestinia, M777 Howitzers coming to here, and also at Severodonetsk. So the M777 Howitzers, the artilleries are coming to this place. There is also reinforcement being moved to Mykolaiv over here, north of Ivanivka. So there is previous I think there's a report of fighting at Arkhangelsk. I believe this is also previously reported already. Let me check. Yeah, I have reported this. There's no more information about this fighting, so I was going to delete this away to keep it clean, because sometimes it get really confusing when the fighting icon is there for quite some time. There is a MiG-29, not MiG-29, shot down over Severodonetsk, which is north, this town north of the power plant. So it was shot down over via area combat. That means it's an air-to-air fight, a dogfight, and it got shot down. So so that is also a very interesting situation where how many aircraft does the Ukrainian actually have? Everybody is asking that question, including myself, because they have so many aircraft to shoot down. It's amazing how many aircraft that they have. So there might be a possibility where all the Soviet era aircraft from the Baltic states and Poland and all the former Soviet republics has been sent to Ukraine. Even if the countries do not admit, the number of aircraft that got shot down suggests that the entire NATO alliance have emptied all their Soviet era aircraft into Ukraine. If not, it is unlikely that the Ukrainians have this many aircraft, because they have already exhausted their air force in the first month of war, and they did not really have an air force for quite some time until the transfer of aircraft started to happen, where their air force suddenly revived. So that is that. Moving on to Zaporizhzhia Line, we have no updates. In fact, this fight between Lysychansk and Kryvyi is no longer reported. So this battle is now removed. Moving on to the all the way at the end of the Zaporizhzhia Line at the Velika Novosylka, there is multiple reports of fighting at Vremivka, Neshkushne, and Novosylka. And in fact, there is also this information that there is shelling reported on Novosylka by the Russians. This is according to the Ukraine Defense Ministry, which also suggests that this Novosylka might actually under Ukrainian control. However, this is Ukrainian Defense Ministry reports on the shelling tends to be rather inaccurate in terms of like, for example, they say let's choose one position. Okay, I think, for example, just say the Novosylka, they actually report shelling on, okay, I think a good example is the on this side, where they always report Voronove or Boriske is under shelling, and that people will read it as it is under Ukrainian control, but actually it's not. So the Ukrainians does this kind of thing, which makes such assessment based on shelling from the Ukrainian side not very reliable information. I will put it on the map as a question mark. However, it's not that reliable, unfortunately, because they have done it too many times, reporting shellings from locations, shellings on locations which they do not control. So that's just how we have to deal with it. So that's all from the Zaporizhzhia Line. So this is the end of the Zaporizhzhia Line. For those that are new, what is the Zaporizhzhia Line? Zaporizhzhia Line is a series of 4 different settlements: Kayamske, Orikhiv, Huyaibo, and Velika Novosylka. This line protects. These are the 4 major hubs that have pathway moving all the way up north to protect this supply line moving from Zaporizhzhia all the way to the Eastern Front. So the fall of any of these locations will endanger this entire supply line, as the Russians will be able to push up north and capture Mykolaiv, or Porovsky, or Iskra, or any of these positions. Then this entire route will be invalidated. There's only a few major highways. You can see one here, one from Dnipro all the way to the Eastern Front. The other one also from Dnipro but through Pavlograd to the Eastern Front. So these are the 3 major highways, which is why this Zaporizhzhia Line is a defense line on its own to protect this vital line from Zaporizhzhia. This is the only highway from Zaporizhzhia moving to the Eastern Front. So this is why this is important. So I haven't talked about this the reason for Zaporizhzhia Line for some time. I know there's a lot of new viewers, so just want to explain this a bit. Over at the Donetsk Front, there is this offensive from the Russians, counter-offensive from Bilohorivka towards Pavlivka. So it's here. So this continues this parallel universe over here at this area here, where by right Bilohorivka should be under Ukrainian control, along with Shevchenko, Novomayoske, and Preshevivka. However, this attack reported by Andrew Perpetua, who isn't exactly a pro-Russian guy, suggests that this series of information might all be wrong. So we have no idea what is the actual situation. Because if you go into the space here, all these different forest lines are battlegrounds. They don't fight in the open. They are all fighting along the forest, and they're shooting across the fields. So it could be this is under Russian control, this is under Ukrainian, however this is under Russian control. It could be as complicated as that, which is why we will continue to monitor the situation here. Don't commit too much into they actually captured Shevchenko or not, because things can change very quickly around this front here. Further up, there is no updates from Avdiivka or New York. There is a new reinforcement at New York. I believe I reported this before, but anyway, just leave it there. I'm going to delete it the next time. Coming to the Bakhmut Front, I have no updates regarding Luhansk or about the power plant here. There is also no confirmation of this rumor of the capture of Kodema, so which means likely they didn't. No updates on Zayseve either. So all the concentration is all over here. So moving up north, no information on Borovsky, no information on Soledar, no information on Yakovlevka, Bilohorivka either. Not even Berestov. So the fighting here is mainly still on artillery, battles, artillery and counter artillery, fights. No ground offensive is noted. So moving on all the way to the Luhansk front now. At the Luhansk front, there is information from the Ukraine map saying that Ukrainian forces have retaken control over Mykolaiv or Mykolaiv. However, this information, I have put it into a question mark. I have pondered a long time. I've keep changing the map a few times. Keep redrawing the borders around here, because I was considering if I should award this as a confirmed capture, and then finally I decided that I should put it as a question mark. The main reason is because there was reported fighting, reportedly from the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, saying that there is fighting near Spine, or Spine, I don't know, Spinach. So at the Spinach here, the Russian reconnaissance group was repelled by Ukrainian forces, which means, and I don't think that the Russian forces actually move up from Berestov. And should they move up from Berestov, then the Ukrainian forces basically encircled themselves. So that makes no sense. And so it's likely to push from Mykolaiv direction. Of course, there is also a possibility that they actually push from this direction, this way down. However, this is a little confusing, so which is why I put it a question mark. I think that's a more conservative approach. Of course, the fighting near Spine can be here or it can be here. So take this icon here with a pinch of salt. The location might be wrong. Moving up further north. So how should I put this? Okay, let's push here. The Russian forces have did this hook from the south of Verkhan or Kamyamka, because they are unlikely to go from the north because there's no fighting reported at Zolotarivka. So they're moving from the south and they are now fighting on the western side of the refinery, while they are actually attacking from the eastern side as they captured Topolivka. There is already Russian forces occupying part of the territory of the oil refinery, which likely to be around here, as they are pushing westward. There is fighting already reported at Verkhnokamensk or Verkhnekamenka in Russian. So they are fighting in this village already. So this came out as a surprise where they push so deep, far away. This is like a 11 kilometers push westward. So probably they want to have a much bigger or more secured encirclement, because if you fight here, this is very predictable. So maybe they go behind the defense line, probably around here, where he's trying to keep the supply route open. So they are hitting from the rear. So this might be a possibility, because I would imagine the Ukrainians to be holding this line here, and this line like this. They are probably holding this line in this way, which is possibly why the Russians are actually doing a flanking movement to the rear and to negate this defense line at Zolotarivka, Verkhnokamenka, all the way up north to Bilohorivka. I believe that could be possible. So this information is now corroborated about the Russian forces operating east of Topolivka as they captured Topolivka. There was a previous report of a counter-offensive against Volchoyarivka, but obviously this does not work. The Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, as I mentioned earlier, reported shelling by the Russians on this town, which the Russians have already captured. So this is also why I talk about how the Ukraine Defense Ministry information on Russian shelling sometimes have to be taken with a pinch of salt, or in fact a whole freaking bowl of MSG, because this has been consistently the case where they mention shelling, but sometimes no, they don't actually hold their position. So it's like they are reporting their own shelling on the Russian position and say that it's under their own position. That kind of feeling. So that fighting is now already arrived at Mykolaiv. So this corroborates this previous information of Russia moving towards Mykolaiv, and what a difficult name, Mykolaiv. So they have already fighting here in the town, which is on the western side of Lysychansk. There's also a new battleground developed over here at a glass factory. So this is a glass factory. And there is also another the Lysychansk plant, the machine building plant at Lysychansk. So I believe this is definitely under Ukrainian control. They definitely deploy troops here. So the forces, and I believe I saw videos of this part. Oh, maybe not this one. Sorry. So the Russians are actually attacking the glass factory region here already. So this is on top of the already reported information of the Russian push towards the rubber plant and the gelatin plant. So this is the gelatin plant, this is the rubber plant. And there is already UAV videos of the gelatin plant getting shelled by the Russian forces. The UAV was watching Ukrainian forces moving around, and then they shelled the position here. Further east, Bilohorivka is reportedly captured, according to the Ukraine map. Not sure where he got this information. So he's the only one that mentioned Bilohorivka is captured. So Bilohorivka is captured, and this allows the Russian forces to go closer and closer. And of course, if you still did not hear this, then you must be living in a cave, or you're totally not interested in the Ukraine war. The Russian Defense Ministry have officially announced the capture of Severodonetsk, Severodonetsk, Voronove, as well as Borisky. So this entire area has been captured by Russian forces. And of course, they have already cleared out the Azot plant. And this information is corroborated as journalists and reporters are already reporting from the Azot plant. So this military correspondent filming at the Azot bomb shelters, this is actually the Izvestia reporters, a Russian newspaper, according to the viewers, to the DPA viewers, they have told me. And so they are already here, and hundreds of civilians has been evacuated and rescued by the Russian forces. However, while the Defense Ministry of Russia reported that the entire left bank of the territory of the Severodonetsk within the border of the Luhansk People's Republic under, what kind of English is this? The entire left bank of the Severodonetsk River here is under the border, under the control of the Luhansk People's Republic. There is no mention of Lysychansk or Pavlograd, or the information about all this forested area. So I believe there might be still Ukrainian forces within here. They are still slowly evacuating from the forested area and Pavlograd over to Lysychansk. So I do not believe the capture is all the way to the river, which is why the border is drawn in this way. And we are also waiting for confirmation of Lysychansk being captured by the Russian forces. So so this I can delete the way. So did I mention the capture previously? Let me say. Yeah. So this the previous summary. The locations here are still not captured. Just to double confirm. Sometimes I get confused because the quick update on the Severodonetsk capture was a bit long. So that gets a bit confusing. So I also want to highlight that from my own assessment, there's a huge possibility where the Russians may try another tampon crossing over at Bilohorivka or any of this region here to quicken the encirclement and capture of this entire region here at Lysychansk. Because as the forces, or as the Ukrainian forces here have all messed up and got confused, this is a possibility. There's a high chance where it is now safer to actually do the tampon crossing, the pontoon crossing to Bilohorivka and quickly and close this entire encirclement. Previously, the Ukrainians already detected Russian troops trying to do the crossing, and they have prepared a lot of artillery on the landing, on the the beachhead, which is why the entire crossing was a failure. But by now, the artillery would have been redeployed to safer grounds, probably to Sivers and other locations, and probably they do not want the artillery to be within this this operational encirclement, which means that Bilohorivka region might be safer for the Russian forces to cross now, which is something that I think might happen. But of course, they might not need to happen because the Russian push here is very strong. The push here is very, very strong. So they might not need to do that. But I believe that if they do, the entire defense here will collapse very, very fast. But this is just my own projection. This is not really a report. Moving on to the Izyum Front. At the Izyum Front, let's see. What do we have? This entire offensive or fighting reported at Pryshep and Tyanivka, I think is invalidated because he's the only guy mentioned about this. I didn't see this information anywhere else, and the fighting was never reported again. So I will delete this and move back the border. It's unlikely to be true now. I believe it's invalidated. And also the dispute of the capture of Pryshep, I think, is also likely to be not true. So I'm going to delete this. Dolina, the fighting is still largely on the Dovhenke, Mazanivka region, and probably also at Dolina and Krasnopilia. The fighting is still largely in this location. The there's no more ground offensive at Dubrovnik and Kuruka or Vinopilia. I think it's mostly still shelling, artillery shelling of this position. Ukrainian forces recon groups are reported operating west of Rudneve. Rudneve is here, this small little village here, and they are reportedly operating within this forested area here. Previously we mentioned the capture of Nosivka by the Russians, so it remains to be seen whether the Russians will actually try to capture this position and use this as an operational base to control the forest around here. But this is actually discovered by the Russians, so it's not looking good if you are discovered when even you are operating within the forest. The offensive at Balakliya still had not happened. Looks like the bombardment was really bad, and forces might have been redeployed to Donbass because of the change of situation here. The offensive might be abandoned to reinforce the forces in the eastern side of the conflict. All the way now to the old happy front, the Kharkiv Front. Kharkiv have not been very happy for a long time now, so I don't think it's no longer qualified as the happy front anymore. There is a dispute that Rubizne might be under Russian control. Again, this is through shelling information from the Russian Ministry of Defense. According to pro-Russian sources, the fighting is still at Verkhny Saltiv, and no one actually know what is the real status of Bayrak. And the fighting is also at Potomnik. The fighting at Udi has no longer happening. It's no longer happening there. So there's no fighting at Udi. It's rather quiet, right? If you look at this. I think I can delete this. I can just leave it there. Okay. So I believe this is everything now. So this is the summary for the day of 122 and 123, 122 and 123, and some information, of course, coming from day 124 for the 25th and 26th June, and of course today is the 27th, and so hopefully you guys will press the subscribe button. I know 50% of you, half of you, are unsubscribed, so please press the subscribe button, press the like button to help to let this video be seen by more people. And of course, as the fight against the YouTube shadow banning unit continues, please press the like button to destroy the MLRS, and I'll see you in the next update.